What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Make sure this audio is coming through. Let me see. Shout out to Fantax who did a stream on the Rachel Nichols situation. Hold on, I'm just trying to get this set up real quick before I jump in. I ain't even gonna do the what's up, everybody? My name is Edward Anderson. This is Everybody Hates Black Men. And yeah, I'm about to be on one a little bit. I'm just kind of making sure I got my shit straight before I really go in. All right. All right, man. So this ain't, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about kind of the usual suspects I've been talking about last couple of days. And sorry for that premiere. I'm doing some experimentation with my channel. So, the idea was for me to let y'all know a video's coming and then for me to do the video, do the audio. But if I don't like how the audio comes out, or at least how the video comes out, I'm not gonna post it up. So I didn't. But as y'all gonna see some little difference, some experimentation. We're gonna have a little fun with it. So anyway, shout out to O'Shea. O'Shea did a really good video talking about Kendra G, not Crimson Cure, but Kendra G and the dude. They want to say that women cheat because what a man ain't doing, but men are just gonna cheat no matter what women do. But that's not even what I'm talking about. So there's a dude that I listen to, right? I've mentioned his name a couple of times, but it's not somebody I've highlighted for this reason. And you know what? I understand why he's mad. So I'm not gonna really highlight it at this point because this is what this dude really thinks, but I'm gonna charge it. But I watched the game and I saw what he saw, and it did annoy the fuck out of me. And this is actually one of the videos I could have said, black men need to hold this L. But one of the things that I want people to, this is what I want, this is what folks are going to have to understand. Let me say this. Ultimately, I'm really not here to save the black community. One person cannot save the black community. It's going to require, it doesn't have to be everybody, but I'm not here to give you hope from a collective standpoint. I'm just not. And if y'all want to be like Santa Claus, like I'm going to say it straight up like this. What do you think the black community is going to look like in the next 50 years? I'm 34. In 50 years, God willing, I'll be 84. What do you think the black community is going to look like? Honestly, anybody that wants to have the fucking pro-black conversation, that's going to be in my war chest of statements. I got shot sniper questions that really get past all the bullshit. Do women choose the fathers for their children? Like little things like that. Is the black community a gynocracy or a matriarchy? Things that just cut past the bullshit. Because I understand the commercialism of wanting to talk about the community, because at this point, that's what it's starting to be. Just another way to hustle up money. But real talk, I'm going to start asking that. What does the black community look like in the next 50 years, in your opinion? And what you will find is most black people, including black men, they can't even, they've never pondered that. I can always tell when people never ponder a question. When it's like the first time somebody's asking it. It's a tell. You can tell. It's very obvious when somebody's and a lot of people don't never say I've never pondered that before. And I'll say wow, I never even thought about that. Let me marinate on it. And I'll do it in real time and give you my answer. A lot of times, but most people won't do that because they want to protect their look good. I'm talking about this is true for people in general. people in general, this is true. Like for instance, like when people saw the what's the TV show Regina King on HBO, The Watchmen, and then they showed that episode, which I think they should have did later on in the season. They should have moved that to later on in the season, but they did it in the beginning of the season. I guess they wanted to make headway, and they showed, basically the Tulsa riots and what happened. And then you had a whole bunch of white people, literally, like the Tulsa riots, like blew up as far as the Google search engine because a lot of white people didn't even believe that actually happened. Because you weren't taught that in school. And they were taught, yeah, slavery happened, but they weren't taught that they were just constantly fucking with people after the fact. But anyway, so this is not me to beat up on black people. It happens to everyone. If you don't know what you don't know, right? But yeah, that 50-year question is something I'm gonna start asking, because the truth is Asians think in 100 years. But the truth is, and then some people will get smart aleck and say, oh, well, do you think America will be around in 50 years? Yes. But that's not even the point. Because is that relevant to even the question? I would hope that you would think that African Americans would be able to survive past America. Because what are you really saying? Are you really saying that without America we couldn't survive? It said that deflection would say a lot. And I've heard people try to use that when not playing that game. And the reason why I asked that is because whether you're quote unquote pro-black or an activist about it, or you're just somebody that wants to, use this manhood as this mechanism to kind of make excuses for what women do or whatever, because that's just what your worldview is, because that's really what we're dealing with here. In the manosphere, people have certain worldviews that have been baked in the cake. And ultimately, if black men are not, it ain't even just black men. If black people are not going to like get into an alignment of reality and stop trying to, deal with these like simple ass fucking tropes, then there's nothing to really talk about at the end of the day. The only thing is to just tell people what their options are. And then when they want to get into the why this, why that, or ask the fucking bullshit ass questions, I got my sniper questions. What control do black men have? Because when people talk about what black men are, okay, so that's kind of like, that's me. I'm kind of jumping around. So let me break down what I saw today. So I watched the game. I watched the game. I'm not like, I would like to see Chris Paul win it because I at least want him to get one. But Chris Paul did something I did not like. And I saw it, and that's why I kind of understand why this dude kind of went on this little ramble that he went. But I knew he had kind of these views. And so this is what's going on. You got the Maria Taylor situation. Then you have another light-skinned sister that, because Rachel Nichols has been taken off of this NBA finals, and she's doing it. They fucked with her audio. I noticed that, and then Chris Paul was kind of acting real unprofessional towards the end of the interview, and I'm like, dude, you are not that guy at all. You are not that guy. One thing about Chris Paul is Chris Paul presents himself as, a professional, on the level of Kobe in that way. Except, he's always hurt. But as far as how he carries himself like in life, this is why one of the reasons why he's president of the Players Association. And he was just being real unprofessional towards the end of that interview. And I agree with what the guy was saying as far as his assessment of it. And somebody would say, well, I'm getting butthurt over this. I really don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But then the guy started to go on this rant about, first of all, NBA players, like, the NBA ain't got, look, that's like talking about celebrities. There's, shout out to Kevin Samuels. There's a reason why athletes and entertainers should, for the most part, not really be counted in quote unquote pro black conversations. The truth is, the only thing that really, we really need from athletes and entertainers is money. Quite frankly, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Black people shouldn't even want promotion from athletes and entertainers. Black people, in my opinion, should want politics really out of entertainment and athletics. They just should. Because at the end of the day, it makes it easier for those guys to basically pass money on to certain things, and it doesn't put them on a hook. And quite frankly, white people don't want to see it, which I don't give a fuck. But ultimately, I think that's not worth. I don't believe that in today's age that shit is worth it. When you look at things like Black Lives Matter, how corporations can kind of corporatize activism, it's just another, as they would say in the Matrix, system of control. So ultimately, they can have that. You saw what happened with the Kaepernick situation. You see what's happening even with the Sha'Carri Richardson situation. Corporations make economic and political plays on that. And quite frankly, they that's not worth any kind of return on investment that can give. Because for the most part, very few of these athletes are like real in that way. And the ones that are not, or the stuff that they're doing is not even being highlighted. Like Jalen Rose with his school versus LeBron and his school. The real folks doing real stuff, like actors, and it's not being highlighted anyway. And so it's just another way of saying I identify with you by my product, buy whatever product I endorse. That's what it is. So it's really not worth it. So for that reason, and then you got a lot of people that don't want it in there anyway. And so it just might as well not be there. So that's my opinion on that. But with ESPN in particular, and the reason why I'm saying this is, this rant is spurred on by the actions of athletes. And athletes, especially when they get to this level, you have to be a certain type of special talent to get to the NBA, which means for the most part, these motherfuckers were coddled their entire lives. We all know that. I mean, I'm sure BGS can. Well, when I say coddled, I don't mean obviously they work hard to get to where they are, but I mean like from a control bubble. I mean, even they used to talk about this with Rondo. You have to have a certain mind, the machine and the engine that is, and BGS could probably talk more intelligently about this than I could, but I know enough to know when you look at AAU and all that stuff, that shit is designed to take extremely masculine males and push them through a certain type of route that basically pretty much turns them into a go along, get along gang. And then the ones that really are not able to operate within that, people like Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis, they magically, even though they're extremely talented, they magically flame out of the league. Now, is this always that? No. No. Is it a lot of times they fuck up on their own? Yes. But I just want to give that context before I say what I say, because black athletes and black actors are not a commentary on what black manhood is. They're not. They're not. And they're a very small percentage of black men. So, for the most part, I don't fucking want to hear what athletes and entertainers are doing. And then that gets like, pulled into, well, this is why sisters do what the fuck they do. Bullshit. And the video wasn't about this. This is really, really of a side. The dude that probably said this probably forgot about it once he said it, to be honest with you. But it wasn't something that it was just said for a sentence. I mean, literally, I stopped the video because it was like a 6-7 minute kind of thing. And then it went into, you know, Lil Nas X. So basically, let me rephrase because I'm kind of rambling a little bit. So first things first. Basically, you had the gang. The background of this is Maria Taylor. I've talked about this a little bit before. Maria Taylor most likely is gonna. We don't know, but she's most likely gonna get the money she's looking for, because what I didn't know before is, and I don't think Jada Black knew this either until after the fact, was there's a tape that's been running around a year that that basically has a couple of LeBron's advisors on there, as well as Rachel Nichols. You've heard people talking about it. Fantastic probably alluded to it. And while these people are preaching diversity and wokeness and all of that, you got them saying something completely opposite behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, they're doing office politics, which, it is what it is. Rachel Nichols, has worked hard to get to where she is, but at the end of the day, like I've already told you, a lot of these people age the fuck out, just like players age the fuck out. Like, players age out and then you bring in new players. It's the nature of the game. And black men understand this. And if you want to be like Tom Brady and hold on, well, you better fucking perform. And obviously Tom Brady helps, he's white and all of that. But you can't, nobody can say he's not performing. Same thing with like Drew Brees. Nobody can say they're not performing. But that's not what it is with these women. Shout out to BGS when he said men are human doings, women are human beings. So they think they're owed a position. And at the end of the day, if you don't drive ratings, you're not really owed a position. Like, the reality is, there's other people that can fill in certain demographics that watch ESPN. I mean, that just is what it is. And so, long story short, they got this contract negotiation, and then this comes out, and then they're punishing the black woman that gave Maria Taylor the video. She's the only one that's been reprimanded, even though technically Rachel got caught on the hot mic and saying what she said. She's the one that made ESPN look bad. And then the leaking of the tape to Maria Taylor has nothing to do with what New York Times is doing. They're doing that on their own. So you got 1, 2, then you got Malik. I think her name is Malika, that it was called up like to do the NBA Finals. And, they fuck up her audio, which I know they did on purpose, because I watch enough games to know that shit never happens. And then on top of that, you got Chris Paul kind of acting real unprofessional, and we understand the connection he has to LeBron. And a lot of these, because I listen to Ticket TV a lot, and a lot of these things are kind of background stuff. You don't really hear me talk about it. Any of y'all listen to my channel for a long time, I've always said Chris Paul is overrated. I know he's good, but, y'all getting hurt. So anyway, that's the background. So dude says it, going through all this. Now it becomes this commentary on, because it does look like black men are cooning. And I'm not going to lie. That's why I was going to do the black men are need to hold this L when it comes to Rachel Nichols. Because it is a bad look. And that shit was before this happened. So it is what it is. But then all of a sudden, dude starts going into this rant about, well, black women are frustrated. Black women think black men hate them, and this is why they do what they do. And black women are frustrated because they're looking at where all the real men at. And I'm like, what I notice is you haven't done I noticed you haven't done I know that damn story about these famous twins, these little bitches, and that's what they are. So that's what I'm gonna call them. These little bitches that basically got their stepfather killed. They basically got a female critically injured, because the whole time this chick is is literally dating a dude that her sister doesn't like, and then she's setting the dude up. Like, it's a whole bunch of crazy shit. And then and then the boyfriend of the girl that got shot basically went and just shot a random like dude that's literally was already on his deathbed, killed him, poof, gone, because of some all this shit in the name of protecting women. The little bitch gassed up her stepfather to come out there and instigate an argument, so she literally put him on a send-off mission. At the end of the day, that's his dumbass fault too. But he went on literally the shit that Dennis Sperling talked about is literally what the fuck happened. And by the way, they're saying that the guy was in self-defense. So he literally died for nothing. If that dude catches charges like her boyfriend, it's going to be for what happened to the female. And honestly, so the question, I guess, is was he legally able to have the gun? But whatever. The point is, dudes get on these little rants, and I'm really fucking tired of hearing that shit. Like, they get on these little rants And then they want to talk about what a fucking alpha male is. And then they want to say, what really pissed me, annoyed the fuck out of me was he said, well, these dudes are raised around women, and it's hard for a woman to raise a man. No, a woman can't raise a man. A woman can't raise a man. Period. That's like saying that you could find 1 in 100. Okay, well, our community is the result of quote unquote women trying to raise men. And our community is a telltale of what not to do. So it ain't enough exceptions. But the point is, he skated over that shit. He completely like as if these niggas are just impregnating these bitches, and then these bitches are just like as if the stork just dropped a baby with these women, and men are nowhere to be found. As if you don't have child support courts, as if you don't have all of these obstacles that these bitches put in front of these dudes to be around their kids. And so and regardless of how somebody feels about fucking Tommy, because Tommy's a shot job. Tommy's not really interested in helping the community. The reality of the situation is you have PhDs talking about shit like this. Shout out to Dr. Tia San Johnson, Ron O'Neill, Green Gorilla, Dennis Sperling, as far as an attorney. And this idea is, and so if these men just help these women, a lot of black men went to bat for Jamil Hill. And then what did Jamil Hill do? Jamil Hill basically said black men are the white men of the black community after they went to bat for over the Donald Trump situation. Carrie Champion doesn't like black men. I don't give a fuck why. The argument that, let's be clear here, if black men hated black women would not be able to do like 10% of the shit they do. And there's a reason why they don't fucking go nowhere, because they know they can't get away with that shit nowhere else but around us. But I digress from that. But who else? And this is not true, because it's some of these females that are less well known. They got pushed out of ESPN, but at the end of the day, it's not on the athletes to save them. All the athletes ain't got that kind of pull in ESPN like that. It's only a couple of them, and they don't care. Like one of the things that these dudes like to come at, they like to go at LeBron a lot. Well, LeBron was raised by a single mother. So the very nigga that was raised by a single mother, and we know how ratchet his mom is, so it makes sense how he would act behind the scenes. But we always like to, ignore that shit. And so my point is, you're going to see a lot of dudes that when you get in this conversation, their idea of manhood is, and this is how you know the community isn't going anywhere. Their idea of manhood is, if you're a man, that bitch will act like she's got some sense. Yes, there are some women that will do that. But the truth is, a lot of this fuck shit, let's fast forward it. Let's take it out of like today. Let's go back. It's 2020. Let's go back 40 years. Now, if I were to ask this guy that I'm talking about, do you think black men were more manly 40 years ago than today? I know he would say yes. Okay, what happened 40 years ago? The crack era. 1980, 81 to 90, the crack era. Do you know we are literally like the generation really after the crack era. Like, when I say after the crack era, I mean like my generation was born out of the crack era. So what they don't often talk about is the sexual push for dudes to sell crack, sell dope, make that money. And literally, Black America has never really recovered from that. This is not me blaming Black women solely for the crack era, but this idea that they were victims of it and that they didn't actively drive it in their own way. Oh yeah, that did happen. And you see it till this very day when you look at women wanting dope boys. And this idea that men have to, like, dude, like, here's the thing I'm gonna tell to any nigga this that wants to say that. Nigga, fuck your manhood. Let me tell you how bad it is. You got a lot of dudes that are fucking opting out of even being heterosexual. Oh shit. You got like this, like the shit, like Black men have been pushed like so far as their tolerance level that the main dudes, there's a couple of things that happen. Either niggas don't talk about the community and they just deal with their own individual situation. So they deal with the chick they dealing with, whether they cohabitate or not, but they don't really go real deep in how to fix it. They never get further than, you just need to be a man, because ultimately y'all not gonna fix jack shit. Y'all not gonna fix. It's like somebody. It's like, you needing to fix electrical wire or plumbing or a car, and then you got a goofy ass nigga that's like over you. You're certified to work on this car. You know how to work a car. You have experience, and then a motherfucker think because it's his car, he can tell you about. He can tell he don't know shit about cars at all. Nigga can't even, motherfucker. I ain't talking about this dude particular. I'm talking in general. Can't change a tire. He one of them dudes, but he's gonna tell you what's wrong with the car. And then you check the first thing he said, it ain't got nothing to do with that shit. It ain't got nothing to do with that shit. And then he's making it take longer because at the end of the day, he's not about to come in here and fix this shit because that's not in his purview. And a lot of dudes have this belief. And here's the thing, I can understand to a certain extent if they have an individual experience with women and then they assume that's and it's not even about can you get women or not get women, because here's the thing, a community being on code does not have to do with necessarily just how you treat somebody you're romantically involved with. Being on code is also about how you treat people you ain't got no intention on fucking. Men can't even be on code with other men, whether they're alpha or not alpha. Let me make sure that my shit didn't cut off. All right. Like straight up. Nobody, like nobody's, for the most part, people are not on code with each other at all. You can look at any sector. People are not on code with each other at all. It doesn't matter if it's via sexual context or non-sexual context. Nobody's on code. That's what you pretty much saw in the NBA just now. They're not on code. They're doing what's in their best interest for their collective group. They not worried about they're not looking and all that pro-black shit they talk, man, that shit is commercial. That's commercial. That's why they're allowed to do it. That's commercial. You already saw what happened. Colin Kaepernick's a perfect example of what happens when it's not sanctioned. Ed Reed barely escaped that. It's commercial. That's all it is. You know the demographics of who look at your shit. That shit is no different than the pink shit they do for cancer. It's commercial. They know it drives money, drives eyeballs, drives engagement. And so the players get allowed to do that. But I'm not saying they don't give a fuck at all, but they don't give a fuck enough to give their pound of flesh. They don't. And so this expectation, when you know how these athletes have been groomed, that they're just gonna, I'm not giving excuses for nobody, but this expectation that, which I think what Chris Paul did was really fucking foul. I really do. I really do. And that is fucked up. But at the end of the day, though, I don't expect these athletes. I don't expect that shit out of these athletes. I've been looking at these athletes for a minute, and most of them don't want to enforce their will on ESPN. And quite frankly, and this is another thing, you know, this idea that black women are not responding to what black men don't do. They're not. They're not. They're not responding. Oh well, they do what they do because no. Anybody that says that fundamentally does not fucking understand the history that we have with them in this country. This idea that they do what they do because of what we don't do. I'm really getting tired of some of you niggas. Like I really am, because you niggas ain't helping shit. Like you're not. Carrie Champion is not who the fuck she is. Cause people forget. People forget what she did with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather ain't do shit to her. And how she like fuck that. I'm not about to let these some of these chicks off the hook. Now the new ones, like Maria Taylor's married to a black man. I'll give her a benefit of the doubt. Do I think she deserves $8 million like Stephen A? From a professional point of view, no, I do not. But now I have a greater context of why they offered her 5. Well, what about all the shit these people went through? Well, you know what? At the end of the day, man, you know what ESPN's about. ESPN's a white organization. You don't have to watch. I don't go out of my way to watch ESPN. I don't. I listen to dudes like the guy I'm talking about, Ticket TV. I make sure I give my eyeballs away from ESPN. When it comes to commentary on the games, commentary on what's going on, D. Lloyd, I put my eyeballs to up and coming YouTubers that actually do the real work when it comes to understanding what the 411 is. In fact, I'm probably gonna still go to the Patreon of this guy because he's got good 411. Because I don't support ESPN. That's what I do. Even though technically I do got Disney Plus while I'm talking that shit. But that's a Marvel thing. But I might, in fact, I'm gonna let some of y'all up to see what some of y'all want to say real quick. But this bullshit. Well, it's deeper than it's deeper than just a Me Too purge. It's deeper than that because it's deeper than that. But that is an element of it. But I'm fucking getting tired of just like I'm really getting tired of that shit. I'm getting tired of niggas. This is not about, like, their idea of not blaming black women is to say that, well, black men just need to be men. Like, and this, and I'm gonna tell, and this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say to y'all niggas that say that shit. Why don't y'all go into the child support courts and tell these niggas they need to be men? That's why they bitch, or that's why they female is fucking keeping a kid away from. Why don't you go tell Faison Love he just need to be a man? And then the female, this the mother of his daughter, who is married and got kids, that somehow decided to go all the way to Atlanta and fuck him, put it on him and get a baby by him. Now, why don't you tell that dude that's with her, married to her, that he need to go and be a man? Why don't y'all niggas tell these niggas is really getting fucked up trying to do what the fuck they trying to do to be good men? Tell them that they just need to turn their manhood points up, and then that bitch is gonna magically turn into a fucking Coretta Scott King or Felicia Rashad or a Camille Cosby or Judge Hatchett. Just say that's all you need to do. Some of y'all need to be smacked in your fucking mouth. And a lot of y'all wouldn't do that. Most of y'all, I don't give a fuck how big and big and bad y'all are. Y'all niggas would not go to a black man that's doing everything he needs to do, and then y'all fucking tell him would just be a man, and that woman will stop turning into she'll start to act right. Some of y'all sound fucking stupid when y'all say that dumb shit. Y'all really do. And yes, I think that's fucked up. But at the end of the day, man, like, keeping it all the way 100, When you grow up hearing that I'm strong and independent, I don't need no man, which by the way, that doesn't come from our generation, that comes from past generations. Well, shit, that shit ain't, well, if men were just men, the women would act right. What we're dealing with has nothing to do with manhood. The Jamaicans don't gotta do that. You know why? Because these women only can deal with them. And so there is no such thing as, well, if I'm a perfect man, she's never gonna do anything. That's not how that works. It had a dude, O'Shea was doing a video with this dumbass nigga, this emotional dope dealer, where he was talking about, well, when women cheat, that means something is missing. Okay, dude, a bitch has 50 different dicks in her. So tell me 50 different things that she could be missing, she could be missing out of each one of them niggas. These women are literally self-mutilating themselves, some of them. You tell me what's wrong with black men as to why they're doing that. You show me show me with these perfect black men. And then because he was trying to talk about Lil Nas X, and I'm like, nigga, Lil Nas, that shit is promoted by black women for the most part. What are we talking about? I want some of y'all to come up. I see you, CJM, because you be one of them ones that be going back and forth with it too. Because the thing is, you hear, like, you know what I noticed when it's time to really have this conversation, a lot of these niggas are nowhere to be found, and what they do is they just say, oh, well, you just hate women. You hate women. That's why. I'm like, come on, man. And then what's crazy is a lot of these women, they got career, like in the acting community, they got careers because black men put them on. Shout out to Ice Cube. So all this, so this motherfucker, well, these women don't know what men look like. That, so you know what? Then they need to go find better men than black men. Then that's my answer to that shit. Because if it's really that they're perfect, then they should be able to find the alphas. So what, we gonna say there's no such thing as alpha males in general, where they want to be what they own? Okay, well, you got Africans, you got Caribbeans. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the bullshit. I'm really fucking tired of that shit. It's really to the point where I'm like, you know what? These chicks need to just go ahead and find better men than black men. I'd rather them go be great and go be happy. Look at all them chicks. Look at all them chicks on ES, like, for the most, like Carrie Champion. Her relationships are trash. She ain't no hood rat. Look at Sage Steele. She can't stand her dad because she don't look like Meghan Markle. Even though she's very attractive. Like, you can see her in the shakes that she has. I'm sorry. Just like how if a black man says that you were raised by a single mother and you don't know what it is to be a man. I mean, Kevin said he was raised by his mom was married, but you get what I'm saying. He had to make himself out of that. Sometimes you still got the kinetic effects of that. At the end of the day, men are not blaming women for their personal shit. We're saying that supposedly this is supposed to be a community, and what we're really finding, this is just some shit that we just hear. So what am I giving my life up for? And a lot of the main niggas that talk this shit, they not really doing nothing outside they own, what's in their own best interest. But this bullshit where dudes, yeah, I'm offering the link. Exactly. And the sad part about it is most black men, when they watch ESPN and they see sisters, they will, unless you're in the know, you be like, oh, that's a beautiful blah blah blah, until they say something stupid. And then dudes get turned off from them. A lot of what happened to Carrie Champion was Carrie Champion, a lot of these they do what I call the no scrub scenario, or the no scrub mistake, where they just start shitting on, like, TLC. a lot of people that supported them were black men, and they just shitted on them with no scrub. No scrub. And then you realize that the white dude you put your faith in completely fucked you over. And then, by the way, niggas ain't fucking with you no more like that because you pretty much called them all a scrub. Ha ha, now you broke. Made all that money, you broke. Shout out to Ezreal. Shout out to Marty McFly. What's up, Pharaoh? Yeah, I know this is gonna be Split Spark. I'm listening. JR, Dirk Lurkin, Jim Rant, Era, Memphis Red Boy. He said, I think the community is done. More black men would be going intercultural dating route. You talk about, well, I mean, that's the hope. But the reality is intercultural dating is not promoted enough, unfortunately. And the sad part about it is, interracial dating is going to be promoted because they're trying to absorb you. So nobody's really promoting intercultural dating like they should be because that's just not, because that has its own thing you got to deal with too. Jack Queen, athletes, entertainer, uninformed. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, and I get it. If you're a sports guy, I I get it. That's the lane people want to stay in, and you're starting to see a merger of a couple of different things. But this, but and Maria Taylor seems like she's a good sister. Sister, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't even like fucking using that term. I'm gonna keep it real. Maria Taylor seems like she's a good black woman. Um, Lanika, I haven't heard anything bad about it. I give black women the benefit of the doubt. But this idea that black men don't protect black women, you're not going to shame black men into protecting black women. You telling black men they don't protect black women is only going to make black men check the fuck out more. Because black men have been hearing they ain't shit for you for their whole life. And quite frankly, that's all y'all niggas are doing when y'all do that. That's really what it is. That's all y'all are doing. Let's see what y'all gotta say. Yeah, Dr. Umar talks down on black celebs, has yet to build his school. Well, Dr. Umar don't know how to politic. Memphis Red Boy, I used to wonder why white people didn't talk politics. I understand now. Why white people don't talk about politics because white people are very coy about what they really think. AAU is a big money grab. It is a big money grab. It's a control mechanism too. Charles May Taylor is not as talented as she thinks. The thing about it is, it's not about so much about talent. It's more, I will say that she is talented enough. And the question is not so much about talent. It's can you do the job and can you bring in the ratings? And and what it seems like is she can bring in black eyeballs. And that's something the ESPN needs. Well, they need eyeballs regardless of who they get them from, but they need to be people to anchor those demographics. He is a true point guard. I mean, he played perfectly like a true point guard. Once people mention, yeah, I automatically tune out with that too because my thing is, if well then fine, well then because my rebuttal to that is very simple. All these women, and it's amazing how they pussy seem to be attracted to men that are not real men. Interesting how that works. Honestly, I'm with Nichols because Maria Taylor wants more money than Stephen A. Smith. She's not as big as Carrie Champion or Rose Gold. You know, that was my stance at first too. But my thing is, it's a couple of things. Number one, because apparently Rachel Nichols' show is no more. The Jump is no more. Number one, I don't like how it's a lot of shit that's controlled behind the scenes with the NBA, and Rachel Nichols is a part of that. And a lot of like, and a lot of players take a lot of hits off for other players to not look bad. Also, Maria Taylor is married to a black man. Seemed like a solid dude. Um, you know, the younger women should get the preference when it comes to shit like sports anyway. And she's bringing in the ratings. It is what it is. And I'm all for egalitarianism, or you know what they call it, like meritocracy. I mean, I'm all for meritocracy. I'm kind of just covering it, but yes, but it is what it is. Shout out to Justin March for the $2 super chat. No, he didn't. And the thing is, I've always said that one of my biggest gripes about Tommy is gonna be a representative of what the manosphere is, and I didn't like that. That's why I always kind of railed against that. And dudes acted like that would never bite us or anything. Exactly. So really, it just become, you know, people always say they didn't have to cape up for that white woman. They could have stayed quiet. I'm not saying yeah, you're right. They could have stayed quiet. But they didn't. What you're not understanding is she called them. They were called to do that. That wasn't some shit that they decided to do. I'm not saying she made them do it, but the thing is, Rachel has cultivated relationships over the years to create storylines. This is why a lot of these folks be Team LeBron and shit. So they're, in their minds, they're protecting their own self-interest for this new chick that came up during the George Floyd situation. And so who is this new chick? That's how they're looking at it. I'm not saying it's right. That's how they're looking at it. It's a bad look, but that's how they're looking at it. Well, the clip is gonna come up. The clip is gonna come up. But yeah, Carcino is who I'm talking about though. And it's not just him. It's not just him. I mean, I'm starting to constantly hear to see this shit now. Like you saying you didn't hear the bad audio? What's the point of me debating with Tommy Sotomayor? Tommy Sotomayor is a shock job. My thing is, yeah, because Carcino talk about, it's the first time in history that it's two black women, and yeah, that's nice. I'm not gonna act like it's not, and they both seem cool. Some women will be like, well, the other woman is not really black; she's exotic looking. That bullshit. But um, yeah, but there's a game behind the scenes. Yeah, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Romy Peso? What's up, man? You doing right?
Yeah.
So are you mad the white chick got canned, man? Are you happy for the black chick getting a new gig? What's up?
So I got a question. Out of all the shit that I said, what do you think? What do you think is my opinion on that? Because it should be fairly obvious.
I guess you happy for the black chick.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm kind of wondering why you add why you asked that. So like my position is, my position in general is all these old bitches need to go. Um, and I've always said this in entertainment.
Hey, ain't that age discrimination, man? The
No,
the, the, E-
not in
the
entertainment.
EOC the EOC gonna be on you, man.
That so do you but seriously though, with in entertainment, do they ever talk about age discrimination, or do they ever talk about like they can do something about it? You got a couple of people like Glenn Close and shit like that, but for the most part, they keep those roles because the reason why age discrimination exists is because when somebody has a certain amount of experience, you got to pay them for that experience. And what's the point if you can replace? It's the same thing with like running backs and in football. Why would you pay somebody that's known when you can get somebody and only lose about 10 to 20%, but you pay them like 70% less? I mean, dudes deal with it all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well. Is broadcasting really? Is that really sports and entertainment? Broadcasting, being a broadcaster,
So,
would you consider
so,
that
so
an athletic situation?
yeah, but when you look at anything that's a visual medium, this includes the news, which is not necessarily considered entertainment. You know, when you look at a couple of things. It's credibility, and then as far as the women, this is true for dudes too, but credibility, and then you look at who drives the ratings. So who increases the credibility of the network based on their pedigree, and who drives the ratings. So if you have somebody that doesn't necessarily drive the ratings, but this is why they always talk about what somebody has accomplished. Like Skip Bayless, they would give him more pedigree, and then they would give him a combination of pedigree and ratings. A lot of these women don't necessarily drive ratings. They think they're owed a position just because they're there. And so if you have another woman that can drive ratings, like I'll give you a perfect example. Doris Burke. Doris Burke is not attractive, but Doris Burke knows more about probably basketball as far as the ability. She's one of the few that can actually cover the game. Most of these females can't cover games. She can actually cover a game, like actually do the play by play of a game, and that's why they have her there. Have her there. Another woman that's pretty good. She's pretty universal about a lot of different sports. Sarah Spain. All of them ain't necessarily got that skill. A lot of them they're there to be eye candy. So it just depends. Some of I'm not trying to put them in categories. So my point is, if you're actually not bringing in the eyeballs and the ratings, then they're paying you this money. That's a problem. Maria Taylor is coming up because Maria Taylor took her opportunity during the George Floyd situation, and she's shown a propensity to drive eyeballs. So she's a threat.
So do you see anybody coming behind Maria?
Maria's 34. So she's on the younger end. So they don't have that generation yet. Maria's on the younger end of the spectrum as far as what you would see on ESPN and stuff like that. I mean, Carrie, I looked at the ages of these people. Like, I mean, we can go through each of them. Like, Carrie Champion's like, what, 46, 47. Sarah Spain is 40. A lot of like Pam Oliver 60, but that's on Fox. Fox, they don't typically switch people up unless they have to. Once you pass their test, they typically keep you as far as females go. Is it, well, at
Pam
least you'll
Oliver.
be token.
Pam Oliver is 60 now.
Yes.
Damn, time flies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just talking about like I mean, and there's only finite slots. So if you're looking at, dudes don't necessarily want to see old bitches, and men mainly watch ESPN.
True.
So if the women are not driving pedigree, and Rachel Nichols has worked hard, but I mean, honestly, who would you rather see, Maria Taylor or Rachel Nichols?
To be totally honest with you, I don't even watch ESPN like that anymore. So
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And a lot of
so
black men don't. A lot of men
so I'm
don't.
indifferent. So I'm indifferent on that, but I understand their marketing component, the marketing component, and the eye candy component. Um, the guys though, they can stay forever, but the women, it's almost like a professional sport for them. They only have so many years to be in the game before they get pushed out
Well, I mean,
because of
black
the
men get
younger,
fired all the time.
because of younger talent. Huh?
Yeah, black men get pushed out all the time. They just don't talk about it. I mean, look how fast they got rid of Paul Pierce. They got rid of Paul Pierce just because of a video. He didn't even care. I mean, they're always firing dudes. Jalen Rose
Yeah,
could have got fired for what he said about Kevin Love. Honestly, if he wasn't careful,
yeah.
saying
I,
Kevin
I
Love was
think
a token.
yeah, I think Rose is a little bit more versatile. I think Paul Pierce, no disrespect to Paul Pierce. I mean, but I don't think he was that good of an analysis. I mean, I didn't think he was that good. I mean, he was just another dude.
I think Jalen Rose is better than
A
Paul
lot of
Pierce
those
too.
guys,
That's probably why he got
yeah,
like a slap on the wrist. But at the same time, Paul Pierce did give them credibility based on what he's accomplished. But I can see that. But like to get rid of him just like that, I mean, there's
yeah,
a lot of white dudes.
they can always hire another NBA All Star.
They can always hire any of these white dudes. There's a whole bunch of journalists and dudes that are covering sports writers on the beat. They got a whole pool of white dudes to pull from too. But I mean, keep it real. When Jalen Rose basically checked Skip Bayless on the basketball thing, not in a bad way, but he beat him in a debate like a long time ago. Jalen Rose was out cold for a long time for that. So I think in a lot of ways, black men understand what the game is, and they're able, even if they're not NBA players, because all of them aren't. They're just able. I think they understand what it is. Versus the women have this belief that they're gonna be treated special. They think they're special little snowflakes, and when they find out that they're not, it's a problem. Just like Rachel Nichols. When Rachel Nichols found out that they were really going to try out Maria Taylor, because I didn't know that video was out. Because my thing is, I was wanting to know, why would Maria Taylor even think she could try to get like with Stephen A. Smith. I don't like Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith has put mad work in the ESPN. He's been cooning for a long time, and you don't just get to come in there because you're a female and then be like, oh, I've been here like maybe 5-6 years, so now I'm gonna get the same amount of money that Stephen A was able to kind of break ground with. But I didn't know about that tape either, so that makes more sense as to why they were offered him 5 million. But ultimately, this video is really about this idea. Do you know who Carcino is?
Yes.
Okay, I actually like his content a lot. So this is not really to bash him, but my thing is, and I get why he said what he said, but, and he's not really in this space, so this has nothing to do with him. But this idea, like in the NBA, that these women need to be protected from black men need to protect these women. And the reason why black women such as Carrie Champion and like Jamel Hill, for example, like the way they act, what they act is because of what brothers are not doing. And they would be perfect, good black women if black men just stood up for and became men. That narrative gets on my nerves. It really does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the same time, I most definitely understand what you're saying. Women, women don't protect us, so there's a catch-22 with that, So I can understand. I think a lot of times, man, we just say these things. I think Carcino was just saying it because the girl was attractive, and he was just looking for some attention. I mean,
That's what you think.
Yeah, that's what I think, man.
I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
lie.
because
When I saw her, Ticket TV's got a video. Do you know what Ticket TV is?
yeah, I know what
All
Ticket
right,
TV is.
I'm just making sure. Ticket TV's got a video he just uploaded with her kind of giving a response to Rachel Nichols, and she's kind of got her. She's kind of dressed down. So yeah, I mean she's attractive.
Yeah.
But I actually I gave Carcine a little bit more benefit of the doubt than that, but that makes sense. But yeah, man, it's like yeah, man, we just got to be alpha males, and if we're alpha males, blah, I'm like, yo, the shit is a lot deeper than that. Like, and the thing that really jumped out at me was when he said, these dudes, they ain't never. I was lucky to be around a man. Like black men are not just being raised. Like they ain't no men around. But anyway, I was raised with alpha male, as if women are not actively keeping a lot of their dads from their kids. As if it's just magic that how this shit happens. I mean, hell, true, quiet as it's kept. If you actually look at Lil Nas X's history, because there was one thing, there was a video that somebody did, Jada Black did, where he was lashing out. And he was talking. He's like, "You don't know what I've been through." And a lot of the shit is him lashing out against, I guess, his upbringing and his mom and shit like that, which I didn't even know that. This is way before he did the crazy shit he did now. So a lot of that shit is a lot more. But I get in the moment. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, most def, man. I don't personally, to be totally honest with you, man. I don't even see why this topic is really a big deal because it happens all the time, man. I mean, this ain't the first time this has happened, and it ain't gonna be the last. I mean, especially when you talk about the carousel, the female carousel in ESPN. I mean,
Yeah.
they change, they run through them like a pimp.
Do you think that shit should be highlighted more amongst like the YouTube world, like the sports YouTube world?
I mean, I mean, you can highlight anything. I mean, if a person thinks, if a person thinks it's important and they have passion for it, and they want to start making videos about it. I mean, it's on them. I mean, but I don't I don't see the true interest, because I mean it happens all the time. I mean, people get hired and fired all the time. If it was somebody sleeping with somebody or somebody, did something controversial, most definitely I can see it being highlighted then. But man, people, people lose their jobs all the time. Especially when you're talking about markability and viewership and stuff like that, because you got to understand something. Television companies, they in the viewership business because they need views so they can charge as much money as they can for commercials. So they
See,
need people watching, and then not only that, um, to be totally honest with you, I'm gonna tell you what's really I feel that's very interesting, is that all these highlight YouTube channels, you don't even have to watch ESPN no more. And I'm trying to figure out how they not copyright striked. I mean, because these guys have 400, 500, 600,000 views, and and playing commercials in between, and you can just go to YouTube and watch them and not even go to ESPN. And that's probably one. I mean, as I get older, I don't I kind of veer away from sports. I start going into other interests as you start to mature. You start going into your especially if you played the sport, you start going into other little interests and stuff like that. But every now and then I watch highlights, and where I watch my highlights is I watch it from YouTube. So I'm trying to figure out how how is ESPN competing with that, or competing with these video platforms when they're stealing their content and putting it on their
yeah.
channel, and you can just go there and watch. So I'm trying to figure out how they gonna compete against that. I mean, they can start, blocking the channels, but that's really their main competition, because those are eyeballs. Because like I said once before, I can just log onto my computer or log onto my phone, go on YouTube and watch the Suns versus the Bucks highlights, which I just did before I came on here. I watched maybe 5 minutes of the highlights, but I didn't watch it on ESPN.
No, I that's a great point, and you're right. There's a lot of channels. I mean, the reason I brought up the other argument I brought up, and it does relate to what you just said, is that you know eyeballs matter. And if you got guys like Ticket TV who actually does commentary on the game, which is actually brilliant, and he's not the only one that does it, but you literally could listen to the game and just put it on mute and just hear what they saying. And I asked the question as far as promoting what ESPN does, because this is kind of like, do people exercise their agency and say, I don't even need to support ESPN. I don't need to have it. I don't need to watch it, because why? I mean, unless a game is one that I want to see. And even then, a lot of these games are on TNT. So if it's highlights and stuff, you can watch that. You can hell, you can do commentary on radio with what TV is doing. If you're doing something, you can't watch the game, or you can look at the highlights without even going to ESPN. So highlighting kind of
Yeah,
like what ESPN does, because at the end of the day, black people bring a lot to when it comes to sports and stuff. Black people drive a lot. We drive a lot of the revenue. I mean, they just now started, putting players in position in college to get paid. So it's really not about what somebody should do or should not do. It's really about the awareness. Now, obviously, guys like Carcino and Ticket TV, they benefit for eyeballs coming into them. But at the end of the day, I think they put out good products, as far as information and stuff like that. It's particularly in sports. And it's the same thing when you look at like people that talk about music and stuff like that. If they're giving the real information, and it's like getting it direct. So highlighting kind of the stuff that goes on in ESPN, because I don't be going that deep into it like that. I see that it's a black person, it's cool, and until I find something out that's negative, like I didn't know, like for instance, the Sage still didn't even like black people like that. you know and this stuff I found out way before I started listening to Carcino. Some of this stuff he just reaffirmed it. He gave me like the reason behind the reason why. And or with Carrie Champion, I knew she had some problems because what she did with Floyd and other, and what she always used to do with Stephen A. And yeah, so I mean, it's like I said, it's not just that black and white. And my thing is, I do agree with basically getting behind sisters that are on the team. I absolutely agree with that. But at the same time, it's interesting. They always talk about LeBron. Well, LeBron probably got the ratchetest mother in NBA. Well, no. Actually, no, she's not. Chris Bosh got a ratchet ass mom too. Like, boy, could you imagine them both sitting at the game watching when they were playing for the Miami Heat? Yeah. That,
yeah, yeah. Dante West was knocking them both down.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
yeah, but like I said, yeah, I think the biggest challenge for ESPN moving forward in the future is more so is how they're able to attract people, attract eyeballs, because like I said before, they have a lot of different new mediums that are competing with them, and people are getting very creative, and you're going to see a lot of more creativity from YouTubers and channels and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, because you
um,
got the
that,
reaction
that
videos too, not just the
yeah,
highlight videos. You got the highlights and you
yeah,
got like the
yeah,
reactions, like Cash Nasty and stuff. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you got a lot of different stuff that and you got to understand something. There's only so much time in a day, and people's attention they got to go to work, they got to sleep, so you're really medium I guess you can call it communication organization, medium organizations, whatever. They only have to to get your attention. So to me, that thinking about it, ESPN got more, they got more troubles than they think, and hopefully they got
Mm.
some smart people in the background trying to figure out those things. I think that's probably some of their biggest problem. Will be one of their biggest problems, not
Another,
necessarily
another thing to
bringing
keep
in our
in
females.
Yeah, another thing to keep in
Go
mind
ahead.
too is YouTube. YouTube is an advertising platform as well, so they probably don't give a
Right.
shit about on that front, because they're gonna be like, if you want to take us out, you're gonna have to pay us for that revenue to make up. Because the reality is, those channels. See, a lot of people don't understand about the algorithm. Well, not the algorithm, but about like ads. Is certain niches generate more ads than others. So niches like sports, which is going to be very generic, it's very safe to do ads on. If you can drive views, a lot of times that can, you get paid more per thousand views on that than you would like maybe what I do or something like that. Like gossip does very well as well. That's why certain people can not necessarily have as big of channels and do great. But yeah, that's probably why nothing has ever happened, because ESPN is probably going to have to make it worth YouTube's while to actually turn the algorithm against those people, because really those folks are working kind of for YouTube, because they're driving. Like if you watch your highlights on YouTube, because whether it's one YouTuber you like or whether you just search it, that's benefiting YouTube and the ads that they put in front of you, or you just pay $10 for the premium, that benefits them. So why would they care about what ESPN wants unless ESPN is willing to pay them off? Which that's a lot of money ESPN would have to pay, and ESPN already is paying a hell of a lot of money for so it's probably one of those things. If I have to speculate, that they just probably say it is what it is. They still have market share, but you're right, in the future that's not going to be the case. I got a question for you since you up here. So what do you think about the Sha'Carri Richardson situation now that they made it so she's not going to be on the relay?
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Let me tell you something. Shakara Richardson is gonna be all right, man. She made a mistake. I mean, she's 21 years old. The Olympics comes up in another three years. So she's good with that. I'll say I'll say she might. I'll say Miss Richardson has maybe about. She's 21 now because I used to be a sprinter. I'm gonna say she's about. I'm gonna say she has about at least a good four. I'm gonna say 8 years. I'm gonna say a good 8 year run. So she might. So she's good for another two Olympics since she missed this one. So I think she'll be. I think she'll be good on that front. Um, but the thing I think her biggest problem. I don't think her biggest problem is the weed situation. I think that's a small component. I think her biggest situation is her decision making. And however, she does have a good agent, Ronaldo Nehemiah, which was the best hurdler at the time, probably still one of the best hurdlers ever. Also played professional football. So, and I'm pretty sure she got a lot of smart people around her. She signed with Nike, and you guys got to understand something too is that she has an endorsement deal. The Olympics. I don't think she would have won gold. I don't. She probably wouldn't have even won silver. To be totally honest with you, because those Jamaicans, man, Shirley Price,
Yeah, you're like Borgin. Yeah, as soon as he said those Jamaicans, they cut his ass off. We'll see if he comes
man.
back.
I mean Shelley Price. I'm sorry, Shelley Price. I don't think she's being Shelley Price, man. So I don't think she would have won gold. But however, um, what NBC is the Olympics on NBC this year? It's on NBC.
I, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know people
Well,
will
whatever
probably watch
network.
it. Yeah, people will probably
Yeah,
watch it
whatever.
more. Go ahead.
Yeah. The build up. The thing is that the build up. I think that's what the television network gonna miss. They're gonna miss the build up. But I think she's gonna be all right, man. Um, you know, she,
Well,
you know, she might have.
yeah, financially, she's definitely gonna be
Yeah,
all right because she's coming up in the social media world.
yeah, she's gonna be all right. I don't. It makes her. It makes people that didn't like her throw a jab at her now. Yeah, I think they gonna people gonna take jabs at her because she's smoking weed or whatever else. But weed is not. It's not like she was on meth or anything. So I don't think anything's gonna. I
Yeah,
think she's gonna be good, man.
yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff ain't even really about like when you look at a lot of social media traffic. it really don't even have nothing to do with her. It's a lot of, she's more like kind of this thing that this mirror that everybody's kind of like reflecting certain like thoughts and thing values or whatever off of. So you got people that want to say weed ain't a big deal. Like as far as, oh well, she should be able to run because of the rules. That's what people that, like F the rules. And then you got people that's kind of like, this impulse, because she had a lot of good people around her. Like the person's like her main coach, she's got a lot of people around her. And I actually did a video where I showed what she looked like kind of before, because a lot of people before that would talk about like how she looks and shit. Like, and it's not even, what kills me is people really people really be out here talking about, oh, well, you shouldn't say. Say, look, man, I'm not out here saying she shouldn't run. I'm not out here saying, what the fuck, why she represent. I'm not saying none of that. But ain't nobody gonna tell me that I'm not gonna say, look, man, that shit looks ratchet. Okay, and she's kind of doing the most. And so, like, even with and so somebody told me that, that did track and field. A couple of people told me he did track and field. That they're like, well, there are people that look like that. You just don't often see them at that level. But there are people, so that's not that abnormal. I even let the hair go because I was like, okay, well, that could be a
Actually, believe
marketing
it or
thing. Go ahead.
yeah, but actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. She can sell a lot of wheat. Believe it or not, if somebody, if she listening to us, she could sell a lot of weave to the hood. Because she could have multicolors because she be wearing the hell out them colors. So she could be a hell of a weave. Matter of fact, she should come out with her own weave hairline if she was smart. But believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize that FloJo was kind of like that too. But she didn't have it was just her hair wasn't as colorful. FloJo was very semi flamboyant like that. I think the only thing that will hurt um Shakari is that Shakari is very very which at the same time it attract eyeballs. She's very very she's beyond cocky. I mean confident. She's more on a almost a I'm the shit. I'm the
but
shit. I'm the motherfucker.
yeah, yeah,
That's what's going. Yeah,
that'll fuck her
that's
up.
what's gonna get her. That's what's gonna get her. Yeah, that's what's gonna and when she win, it's gonna be all good. Hey, nobody ain't gonna be able to say nothing. But when she lose, the haters gonna
That's when
come
it's
out
gonna be
and
the
they gonna
test.
meme her and talk back. Yeah, they gonna just drag her. They just gonna drag her. That's what's gonna mess her up. However, though, she has a wild card in her back pocket. Now that she's confirmed that she's gay, so a lot of people are gonna have to
This is what she looked like before.
she got the gay card. So you're gonna have to be very careful when you drag her. But I think that's gonna be her only really her only problem is when she loses, people gonna drag her. Just like when she won the NCAA's. She was talking to shit. She was raising her hand, coming 5 meters. Before she hit the finish line. But then when she started racing professionally or whatever, talking about I'm going pro. A lot of people was rooting against her, man, because they didn't like how cocky she was. Because you really, to be totally honest with you, you don't.
Yeah. So anyway, um, he'll pop back up. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, because honestly, I'll probably be doing this till 3. And like I said, man, it's something. At the end of the day, it's just this idea that I don't know what folks really think is gonna fucking happen. Like real fucking talk. Like people, oh well, these sisters, if men just be men, then I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like these women have always done what they want, irregardless what the fuck you do. Like I don't like, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. In many ways, and I hate to use this terminology, I really do, but it is kind of misogynistic a little bit. Like, do y'all really think that women just naturally like, oh well, if I'm a man, this woman just bows the fuck down? Man, you got these hoes swinging at niggas that are like 6'2". Yeah, I mean, this was a great. I mean, this and she still got weave on and shit, but like motherfuckers will really be out here and they try to use her and try to say, hey, you need to you need to accept all this ratchet shit because she a black woman. This is what motherfucker, and people will be like, well, that shit though, that shouldn't matter. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Like for real. Because where were you motherfuckers at when they were beating up on Gabby Douglas just because she got out the fucking water? That's bullshit. Yeah, you right. You right, Alpha Omega, and that shit, and that shit that yeah, I don't believe that shit because if they want to talk about if you build, they'll follow. Look, man, you got like I always say this: you got 1 in 5, y'all, 20% that they operate that way. The rest of them, to like varying degrees, they got they bullshit. So folks love to say shit like that. No, now as far as the alphabet community, yeah, it was interesting because they were putting because she was about that age when they put out those. Because this is when she was 17. So when they put out those, she talk about she put out those tweets and shit. But a lot of dudes was like, man, she must be cool. So I mean, the thing about it is she just don't need to get caught up in social media. Like, but the thing about it is you talking to a 17-year-old, you talking to a 21-year-old that came up through the 2010s. So that's kind of baked in the cake that she, so. But we will see.
You know what though? I think we should look at after track and field, not doing track and field. How life gonna turn out after track and field? You know that's the thing because we got to realize she's straight hood, and is she gonna blow all her money? Is somebody gonna take her money? Is somebody gonna rob her? Via agent or attorneys or something like that. I think those are some of the things that we need to
Well,
well, I'm not gonna say we, but I think
Well, I
those
mean,
might be some
people
of her
pay attention
problems.
to. Well, here's the thing: like, she's
Yeah.
coming up. She's coming up just like how the presidency is every 4 years. The Olympics is every 4 years, and social media evolves, takes another step, like almost every 4 years. Or it's a lot different than what it was. She's coming up at 21 in the age where you can blow up. I mean, you can blow up. Like she's got 2 million now, and then with what's going, like, okay, the homophobic tweets might mess her up, but if she's LGBT, they'll probably let that go just because she's somebody that can be put out there, somebody that's doing well, that kind of like has that banner on it, that which is gonna probably open her up some opportunities. Then, then you got all these athletes that are jumping on board because they're seeing her as a victim for different reasons. So, and then she has a lot of people. She has more people for her than against her, and she has a way more people that blindly is for her because a lot of that ratchet shit a lot of black people identify with. Even if they're not like that, they identify with it, and they want to have this it should be accepted bullshit. So she's gonna benefit from that. So she's gonna have these endorsements and stuff on the top end, but on the bottom end, she'll have her social media following. It just depends on how she handles that. And a lot of her personality is gonna like her personality got her this far. So who am I to tell her that she needs to change or do anything different? I think she did a lot, admitting what she did, but the reality is it was nothing she could say. I mean, that was a move that she was gonna have to do, and it was probably maybe put out there that she could potentially do the
Yeah.
relay.
Yeah. I think like I said once before, economically, she gonna make her money. She gonna get the cars, the houses, whatever else. But like I said once before, I think her biggest problem is gonna be, well, one of her biggest problems is probably gonna be lost potential because, like I said once before, that arrogance, man, that because I mean, you raising your hand, 5 meters, before you cross the finish line, you missing out on records, you smoking weed, you're making a lot of little. I mean, they're minor. They seem minor, but in the grand scheme, those little minor things they're gonna be major towards her career because like I said, she got at least two more Olympics if she doesn't get injured because sprinters get injured all the time. So, we really don't have to worry about her getting pregnant because I mean, it ain't like no dude really knocking her down like that. So we don't have to worry about the pregnancy. However, what we do have to worry about is that every single year there's new sprinters coming into the professional ranks. And trust and believe there's going to be somebody stronger, faster than her coming up. I mean, and we talking about track and field is a world sport. It's not like a state sport or a country sport like in the NFL. You don't have to worry about really the players in the United States. We talking about in the world, and we got all those Caribbean countries. Got all those Caribbean countries. They giving birth to females every day. So
Yeah.
and
I mean,
now
what
now
you're
you got
really
a lot.
seeing is culture.
And then
Which
this is another thing a lot of people don't know too is that you have a lot of immigrants coming into the sport
yeah, so basically, like what you're gonna see is culture. You're gonna see a lot. That's what he's really talking about is a lot of that ratchet culture get put to the test. And when I say ratchet culture, I mean like we're gonna see how serious she really is. And you got these people that want to be apologetic about her, but you right, them Islanders ain't nothing to play with. Like this ain't basketball where we just naturally dominate and then everybody gotta catch up. That's not how running is. And we'll see what that arrogance does. Cause see, another thing that's very important is a lot of these females, that attention is like a drug, especially for them now. It's like a fucking drug. And and it really don't matter. Now you got like, obviously Simone Biles is young too. So I mean it could I'm not saying it's like a foregone conclusion, but again, she don't come from that kind of culture. Because who she raised her. So, you know, same thing with Gabby Douglas. So it is what it is. But it is what it is.
hey, hey, you know what, Edwin, man, check this out. Juxtapose, and this is going to be interesting. Juxtapose Richardson versus Gabby, the girl that's running the 200.
Yeah, you borging out again. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end this in like 10 minutes, y'all.
Let's put their career side by side and let's see who has the better career,
Oh,
track
you
career.
talking about Gabby Douglas?
No, the chick from Gabby. Damn, what's her last name?
You talking about
I can't
Simone
remember her last
Biles?
name. No, 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 no. She runs the 200. See, you probably don't even know it. She
Oh
runs the
no, no.
200.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what you talking about. I think are you talking about the black chick? Because I know there's another
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The black chick that runs the 200. Gabby. Forgot her last name. I can't think of her name now. She's sponsored by New Balance. She went to Harvard. She went to Harvard. She's going to be running the 200. Um, with semi, she wasn't as dominant in college as Shakiri because Shakiri only stayed 1 year. So, but let's see how their careers go. Um, you got one chick, she straight lace. She about hard training. She got that quote unquote Ivy League background. She's just as talented. She's just as talented as probably Richardson. So let's see who has the better track career. Let's see who has the better career. I'm gonna lean with Richardson just off the markability because because they love they love to make us look like we hood all the time. They love that hood shit. They love making us look like niggas. So, but at the same time, you got a black chick now from Harvard. You ain't never had no track and field chick from Harvard, an Olympia or black female Olympian from Harvard. You can't get no damn better than that from a clean cut image perspective. You can't
Well,
get no better than
well, again, it's just gonna
that.
be who gets promoted to black people, and another thing
Yeah,
too
yeah, yeah.
is,
And she's pretty to me. To me, she's way more attractive than Shakira. To me.
okay, well, I'll have to check that out because ain't nobody talking about her, but so I'll definitely do my research and look for that. Another thing too is I hope she don't wind up like Johnny Manziel. All the potential in the world, but just couldn't let the bullshit go. Well, Johnny Manziel really didn't have
Well,
that kind of potential, but you get what I'm saying. All the hype in the world.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. The hype as far as hype wise, yeah, yeah. For as hype, yeah, yeah. Johnny Manziel, but that was crazy. But quarterbacks bust all the time. So that's no big deal. I mean, especially the Heisman quarterbacks, they bust all the time. So it's no big deal with that. But once again, we got a lesbian. She hood ghetto. She got colored hair. She's I'm gonna say she's semi masculine as in far as the arrogance, because she's almost arrogant as a dude. That's what we do. We raise our hand 5 meters. You know, um, before we hit the finish line and stuff like that. That's what guys kind of do. Talk shit after the race and jump up and down and do the moonwalk and shit. That's what we normally do. But yeah, let's see. Like I said, let's see who will get promoted, who will get marketed more. Gabby Thomas from Harvard or Miss
oh well, I
Shakira
can tell you,
Richardson
I can tell you
from
that right now. Shakira gonna get marketed more unless this chick does a lot of winning. Because number one, and I'm gonna tell you another reason why. Because black people ain't gonna be paying attention to her like that. They really not because they don't identify with her. This is the same thing what happened with Cardi B that people be forgetting. Like black people, like this, are oh well, she ain't because she really ain't black like that. But she got the past. Why? Because they identify with her, and at the end of the day, that's the only thing that really matters. They see in her validation, and that's kind of that's some sick shit. It really is, and when you really think about it, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Personally, I wish them the best. I hope they make as much money as they can in the sport because that's a very hard sport to be in, and they don't make as much money as the other professional sports. It's an individual sport too. People they get injured, a lot of stuff happening. So I only wish the best for all the track and field runners. Hopefully she lives a good life. Like I said, my only issue is that I just hope nobody don't because they think she dumb or they think she from the hood or whatever else. You know, um, she left school early, blah blah blah. I just hope that nobody don't try to rob the girl. They don't take advantage of the girl. They don't mess over her money. So I hope she has a
Well,
good
that's
attorney.
that's gonna be up to her because the reality is when
Yeah.
you look at her coaching people, she got people that actually care about her. Now, if she want to go and do what the fuck she want to do because a white dude get in her ear or something like that, that's gonna be up to her. And when I say up to her, I mean up to who she decides to trust. Because people that got her this far, as far as when I say got her this far, I mean fostered her talent definitely care about her, like her coach and stuff like that. So hey, it is what it is, and it is what it is. But like I said, there's certain advantages that she got because of the era that you're in. Like she's in the social media era. There's a lot of things that if she uses it well, like she definitely will be good from a financial standpoint. Um, the question is, but it just depends. I mean, even when you look at the lesbian shit, but I don't give a fuck about what people think about that. When you look at, okay, black girl come, you look at the heavy background she kind of comes from. You look at, I mean, even in 4 years, how like a lot of that influence stuff has gotten in there. Cockiness mean can't be told nothing. Like it's what I was just talking to a sister the other day. I did a video talking about because I can't stand when motherfuckers talk about, oh, was she young? I'm like, I'm so sick of y'all saying that motherfuckers are young. She, like y'all need to stop using that as like this universal excuse because y'all like somebody. But the lesbianism is not a good sign. It really isn't because a lot of these sisters, man, they don't know what the fuck they are. To be honest, a lot of these sisters talk about they basically, they get mad at dick, and then all of a sudden they want to be gay. Then they cheating on the bitch with a nigga having a baby. Like I used to Uber for 3 years. You have no idea some of the stories I got. These chicks lesbianism with babies and shit just creating. I ain't saying that's how she gonna go out, but a lot of these motherfuckers. I think somebody said she might be bi,
Well, well,
but I don't care. I
well,
mean, I
well
don't care, but
yeah. they a lot of these cats out here hoping she buy. I mean, personally, I don't care what she is because I'm probably
I
gonna
mean,
never
I
get a
don't
chance to
either. But
smash her,
but
so I don't care what she is.
I ain't saying that for that reason, but I mean, you see it in WNBA all the time, where like it's a lot of situations like that Brittany Griner, Gloria Hope situation. You be having females, they be playing, and I've heard this. Like I know enough studs and stuff. A lot of these females be playing. A lot of these females they buy, but they be playing gay. And that's one of the that's why it's so much a lot of violence with a lot of these
You think you think
black women.
you think grinders is bisexual?
No, I think, but Gloria Hope wasn't fully gay like she said she was.
Oh, okay.
No, I
Oh, okay.
think Griner is full. I
Her
think your partner.
okay. Okay, a partner. Yeah, I remember that incident. You know what? Speaking of grinder, I remember because I'm from Houston. I remember I was in college at the time. Me and my homeboy took me to a grinder game when she was in high school. When she was in high school, man. And she was goofy then. We used to I created I created a nickname for. I called what did I call that girl? I had a nickname for her as Super Dyke. That's what I called. I called her Super Dyke. I
Oh
called her Super
wow.
Dyke. That was our nickname for back in the day. But yeah, man, she in the league now, so good for her. But you gotta understand
Paying
something, man.
child
Most of these
support to Gloria Hope. That's some bullshit.
oh damn, oh
Yeah,
damn, that's
she got
crazy. That,
yes. They took it to court and
that's
she got child support at her. And look, even women
that's
like her
crazy.
ain't getting paid like NBA players. So yeah, like that was fucked up what she did. What Gloria did. Like she really hustled her ass. Like, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh yeah. 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 That's crazy. That's crazy. But we gotta understand something, man. Women are like children, man. I mean, and they gon' they gonna do dumb shit. I call them children with titties with titties because at the same time they gonna they'll end up switching up on you real quick because women are emotional. We know that, and also women have that's the thing. Women have their agenda and we have our agenda, and a lot of times, if their agenda goes against our agenda, they gonna stick to their agenda.
So,
For example, with old girl, she was looking after her kids. She didn't care. Women don't care who. Women don't care who have. Well, they do care who they have a baby with, but they interested in. They don't care who raises their kids. They looking for the money. They want somebody to raise their damn kids. They
yeah,
looking
that's
for
how.
somebody to raise. They don't care who do it, but somebody got to do it. The
So so
government,
so
you, me,
yeah.
somebody.
So here's the thing that we got to understand because I understand the sentiment of want to say women are like children. I even say it, but what we got to also understand is people got to kind of get clear. A woman, a grown woman, like a 25-year-old, there's higher expectations on her than like we'll say like a 15-year-old male. She's an adult. And the reality of the situation is what women want, and shout out to BJ's Igmore, women want equity versus equality. Women don't want, because equality is like the burden of performance. Equity is, well, we all get the same shit just because I show up. And unfortunately, and the thing about it is, a lot of dudes will write. I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but a lot of dudes will kind of write off what women do, saying, "Well, women are like shit." No, women are adults, and even the laws are built around that. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, the laws are not even designed to deal with women; they're designed to deal with men. So women get these like extraordinary. They basically get the rights to do a lot of shit. Like for instance, if you leave a baby, let's say you got your baby, a son, a daughter, whatever, and you leave them in the car and they die, you're not gonna get saying, well, that shit was an accident and you don't get charged. You're going to jail. Women do that shit all the time, and then it's on some like that's not. They don't even get charged for manslaughter. They don't even get charged for neglect like that. Like and it's a lot of situations like that. And the reality is that women are emotional, women are this, but women are also adults. And if we say that women are children, the same people that say that women are children would never be the same people saying, well, women shouldn't have, there's a lot of rights women shouldn't have. You'll never hear that come out of the
Yeah,
same person's mouth to say that. And my thing is, if we really gonna hold them to a child's place, then they need to start having child's rights, because that's where the community, well, the country's being fucked up.
yeah.
Also, when you look at, I'm gonna say this too, when you look at how women operate globally, they operate. I always say this too: you will never unspoil a child in the same environment they got spoiled in. Um, and that's really what we're dealing with our women. So we kind of write it off as their children, but these motherfuckers know what they're doing. It's just they want to act
Yeah,
like they're children to avoid accountability.
yeah. When I say women are children, I mean they act like children. Oh, most definitely women are adults because we don't fuck children, we fuck adults.
Yeah,
So
and
they adults
a
are
lot of
adults.
dudes be really no. I hear what you're saying. I just wanted to highlight because a lot of dudes don't understand. We assume that dudes understand that difference, but a lot of dudes be really believing you can't hold women accountable. This is why where like think of what I just said. This is where that well if a man is a man, it's kind of like saying, well, if an adult acts like an adult, in front of a child, then a child is going to operate within a child's place. Kind of like, when you got a substitute teacher and then you got the real teacher, and they may fuck around with the substitute teacher, or, you get what I'm saying, the authority. But the reality is, we live in a country where the truth is men don't really have authority over women. Yeah, you can have perceived authority, but ultimately it's still up to that female to do what she want to do. And a lot of these niggas, even niggas that are like 6'2", whatever, these chicks be turning on their ass, by using the government or whatever when they get the opportunity to do so. So they just pretending. And a lot of dudes put themselves in fucked up situations by really believing, well, yeah, man, I'm a man, so she ain't gonna do that to me because
Yeah,
I ain't no
well,
man. And they don't vet their women because they assume it's just their manhood that needs to. Their manhood can change every bitch, and I'm like, okay. And so when people get mad when they say, why do we talk about what we talk about here? You all hate women. It's because it's a whole bunch of dudes that they do not understand that, yo. They really are out here believing that women are children. You can't really hold women accountable. I'm like, yo, they're adults. And shout out to BGS because he's usually corrected me on that too. But yeah, man, these motherfuckers know exactly what they do. Like, we live in a country where Cardi B was able to basically admit to it. Look, when these rappers admit to a crime in their music or they do anything, they getting locked up for it. We clown them all the time. But when Cardi B admitting to drugging multiple people, nobody made it their responsibility. Sorry if I'm missing y'all super chats too, by the way, because I'm like doing something while I'm dealing with this. Nobody made it their responsibility to put Cardi B in jail. They thought that shit was funny. Like all this effort to deal with to go 25 years back to deal with Bill Cosby, supposedly. All these rules that they broke, agreements they broke, and then, and which, by the way, there's not going to be any consequences to. But Cardi B, it ain't been that long since she did that, but they gonna act like they ain't got time. If she's a big fish, oh no, we can't do that, because that probably won't help your electoral politics. And this is the bullshit, but like, this is, I mean, for real though. And this is, and it ain't even about why you comparing. It's for real. And that's the society you live in. It's just little by little shit does that. And that's why, when that's really, I'm glad he mentioned that, because that's really why when people bring up shit about what a man does and all that, and that's generally not how it works. That's really not. Power, it's about power. It's not about, yeah, man, you just need to be a man and she gonna act like she a woman. Nah, these bitches, the what bitches that are truly wild, it ain't nothing you can do. You got to be able to write these motherfuckers off. And as far as ESPN, yes, what happened to Lanika and an old girl, yes, that's fucked up. But and some of these like unnamed ESPN females that left, I get it. And yeah, these athletes, I mean, I've always said these athletes need to take a little bit bigger stand on who's in ESPN. But this idea of making that like a commentary on all black men, and he didn't say all black men, but like this idea, like when people always say, well, these women act the way they act because they can't, they think we hate them and they can't trust us. And then, I'm like, no, they do what they do because they just gotta step up. I'm like, motherfuckers just need to really chill with that bullshit, because you're really not helping shit. You're really not. Because all it does is make these females really out here believing that nothing, they it really has them thinking we fucking dumb, to be honest with you. But anyway, y'all, this has been great. I appreciate the dude that came up. I'm about to head this out. Made this a little bit bearable to deal with. I'm gonna check out that Loki real quick. He said Eve. Nah, Lilith was the IG. Nah, Lilith was the feminist. Yeah, man, but nobody will say that. For all y'all to be thinking I don't be letting nobody talk. All right, y'all. I appreciate it, man. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. Y'all know what time it is. Much appreciated. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.